Hi folks, it's Coach Kelvin here from the We Run Virtual Run Club and We Run Coach for Leeds and surrounding areas as well as online coaching. In this little video, I'm going to share some thoughts on training structure and how we work from the sort of least specific work to the most specific work and how we work from weaknesses to strengths. So the further out we are from an event, the more likely we are to work on something that doesn't really look like the event itself. So I'd like to use a half marathon as an example. And what we might do is put in something like a VO2 Max Phase first, and then bring in some threshold work and then start to work on some goal pace work before a taper. So the further out we are from the event, the more likely we are to do things like VO2 and sort of top end speed work. And the closer we get to the event, the more likely we are to be adding goal pace work into our training. And also the further we are out from an event, this is a time where it's wise to address weaknesses and then work towards our strengths as we get closer to the event itself. And in terms of the intensities, the only exception here might be a runner who's coming back from a little bit of a break, and we might put like a bit of an aerobic build block before the VO2 phase, just as a bit of an aerobic refresh and to build up some connective tissue capacity. And if we use this half marathon example, it might be something, it might be a race that's a hilly course. And if somebody's been, running consistently for a good few months, so they don't need the aerobic refresh, they could roll straight into a VO2 max phase, maybe sort of 18 to 26 weeks out from the event. And let's say, for instance, this runner is a better descender than they are a climber and it's a hilly course, they could use hills in the VO2 max phase. So then we're addressing something that doesn't look too much like half marathon training in the VO2 phase and our weaknesses as far away from the event as possible. And then seaming the training as we move towards that threshold and goal pace. We can then take the hills out a little bit and start to work a little bit more on sort of general, where we're focusing on both uphills and downhills. So just to sort of reiterate that the further we are away from an event, the more likely we are to work on things that are not as event specific, and also to work on our weaknesses. And as we move closer to the event, training should look more like the event itself, and we should look at working more on our strengths. So I hope that makes some sort of sense. And if you've got any comments or questions, just pop them down below. And for now, happy running.